Good evening, everyone. I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen you, but we are back and we are rolling into another powerful candid conversation. That alliteration always gets me, which is hosted tonight by Win with Black Women and Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote. This is the space where we center truth, leadership, and the undeniable power of Black women's voices in the political process. This space is more than about politics. It's about building power, asking the questions, and hearing directly from the women who are bold enough to lead and brilliant enough to make change. We know that Black women have always been the backbone of democracy. And in this space, we make room to engage, inform, and mobilize without noise, without spin, and without apology. So tonight, we are honored to be joined by a dynamic group of Black women. You know, we usually do one or two, but tonight we have four. And these sisters will be on the ballot this November. They're running for everything from local to federal offices. And these are the voices who are shaping our future. And we are here to listen, learn, and lift them up. So with that, we're going to get started. Welcoming to the Candid candidate stage, our first candidate for tonight, Dr. Selma Bartholomew. She is a candidate for the mayor of New York City. Welcome, 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 Dr. Selma. How are you tonight?
So much. Thank you so much, Sister Merlin, and thank you to Win with Black Women and Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote. Come on, let's go. Let's go put a woman in the mayor's office in New York City. We're ready. Let's go.
Okay. Well, you know what called you to run for mayor of New York City, and why now?
Well, first of all, people should know that New York City has had over 401-year history, 110 men as mayors, and 108 white men as mayors. And so I stepped up because I knew that people wanted change and I wanted to be part of that change. And so I'm bringing my 30 schools and districts across this country. I also saw where the city was going. I grew up in Harlem, in New York City, and I fought crack at a very early age in my life in Harlem. And that really devastated families across the city, whether Black, brown, of all backgrounds. And now I see within our community the proliferation of weed really being pushed upon our children and devastating our communities. And then I also see policies which are designed to really steal generational wealth across this city, and in particular, generational wealth from Black and brown families. And so I could not sit silently. And so, yeah, I stepped in. And so I thank Win with Black Women and Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote for giving me the chance to really elevate my campaign tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, what does it mean to you personally to be a Black woman running for mayor in a city like New York?
I want people to know that for me, running is fighting. Certainly we can look historically. We just, for example, in June, we were celebrating Juneteenth, and I saw a lot of individuals. Yeah, we get together, we have the barbecues, and really reflect on the experience. But it's 2025, and for me, as a Black woman in New York City, I own a business, and Black women in New York City, for every dollar, we make less than half a penny. Black men make less than half a penny, and even white women, they say make 2 pennies, but in reality, if you are a wealthy white man, you will put your business in the name of your mother, your father, your sister. And so overall, we are not doing well. And so for me, as a Black woman in this race, I am fighting for opportunity and to really change the narrative for our communities, and change the narrative and really bring a bolder vision for New York City, a city of possibilities. Where we feel sometimes at this time in the country, it feels dark. It feels like dark, right? But I want people to know that no amount of darkness can ever extinguish a light. And so we now have to come together to solve problems as a city. And that is the leadership that I'm bringing to the mayor's office in New York.
Awesome. What do you say to people? Because, there's a lot of talk about politics and how people are currently feeling. What do you say to people who've completely lost faith in local government? And what will you do to restore that?
I want to say to them, I understand. I do understand, and I see why it is that they might be feeling disconnected, because I'm very honest about the history of local government being used, like I said, in order to steal generational wealth. I'm in New York City right now, and we have some of the highest cases of deed and home theft. More than 3,500 families, victim to this racketeering, from judges to court clerks. We also see in our city right now, I'm in the Bronx, and we've had over 200 shootings in the Bronx of young people, and 500 across the city. So I know what it feels like, but I want them to know that I am bringing about the leadership, that I'm looking to do things like business, consider the possibilities of what it means to have clean streets again, consider the possibilities of what it means to actually address some of the issues around domestic violence, and really doing the work, right? And so I think people want that. They know that they have a light in them. It's just the fact that they've not had a leader who says to them, join their light with my light. Come on, let's go, New York. We can do this. We can do this together. So I do understand, but I know also that people want change. I spend a lot of time in the community with my team in all of the boroughs, and they know that they are also being almost hoodwinked by the media. The media is really pushing the money and pushing the candidates with the money. I was denied the debate stage in New York City during the primary. They demanded me to spend $2.5 million to debate. So we know that it's a rigged system, and so we now have to be the change that we want to be in this city.
So let's talk about the city and the boroughs. What's your plan to stay connected to the communities that are in all 5 boroughs?
Absolutely. So first, I want to do what I call a quality of life index tool across the city. To be able to help give New Yorkers for some transparency based on your zip code and where you live, where are the doulas, where's the suicide prevention centers, what things that New Yorkers need. And then I'd like to do stewardship block by block. And what we find in our community is there are always individuals who step up, right? Who say, I want to be a block captain, I want to be a block leader. But New York City has never invested in community leaders. And so I'd like to invest in our building captains and our block leaders. And I want to do something very innovative. I'd like to bring our youth into that space with them. And I'd also like to bring our police department in order to really rebuild trust and relationships and give them the training and the tools that they need. So specifically, giving them leadership training and giving them conflict resolution skills, and also giving them the tools in terms of just managing a meeting, where the notes end up. And so we can begin to really roadmap for every borough and for every zip code what's happening. And so that allows me the opportunity to really stay close and to really allow the voices of the people to be heard, and then to really align the resources given this quality of life index tool. What do we need? And so in order to really transform the city, we have to be able to assess, and we've got to have the people ready to really do the work together as New Yorkers, which I know that they're ready for. I know that they're ready for, and I know that we want to be able to do across the city.
Thank you for that. So let's dive a little bit more into your background. What are some of your past roles that have prepared you to lead this city of over 8 million people?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
Let's go.
yeah.
Well, first of all, in 2008, in the middle of the recession, I stepped out on faith and I trusted that I would step on solid ground or grow wings to fly. And I stepped out on faith and I formed my own business in the middle of the recession when everybody else was kind of looking for safe spaces. I stepped out. And I built my own company and I built my own brand and built teams across this country. And what I do is very specific in terms of really uplifting communities. I say to people, I fix schools. And so people bring me into their schools and into their districts in order to improve education and to improve, in particular, STEM and workforce education. In New York City, I have taken several schools from failing to success. I've worked with, for example, Urban Action Academy. I went in there and worked with their principal to raise their graduation rate to above 80%. There's a district outside of New York called Yonkers Public Schools, and when New York State wanted help, they called on me and my company, and we went in and spent over a year in Yonkers. I did one of the largest audits of Rikers Island Prison in New York City. And I've also worked nationally. I've worked in places like North Dakota, Chicago, California. And so my work has allowed me to be in spaces and to be in rooms where people come to me around really asking for ideas and for solutions and proving to them that we can actually transform communities and uplift schools. And so what I'm bringing to New York City is over 30 plus years of leadership experience. People often ask me, the PhD, are you a doctor? What kind of doctor are you? So my PhD is in leadership and policy from Fordham University. I hold 2 master's degrees, one from special education from Adelphi, and another master's also from Fordham in leadership. I have a bachelor's in mathematics and physics, and I have an ABD in pure math. But the dress that fits me well is leadership. And so for more than 30 plus years, I have worked in different capacities. I worked with an organization called New Visions of Public Schools, and I did one of the largest national science foundation initiatives across the city, and really working to help people build relationships with parents, relationships with teachers, relationships with students. And I look at New York right now, and I see that we are hurting, that people need to be able to learn how to better communicate. We need leaders who are able to think mathematically, to look at our systems across our 70 plus agencies, across our ACS, across our health services, and to really look at what are the nature of the relationships and what are we seeking to engender. And so I'm bringing a very different perspective, and a perspective that starts around relationships, but also wanting to fix broken systems. It's time that we actually say that we can actually solve some of the problems that we're facing. An issue I want to tackle for New York City is we have an epidemic of domestic violence in across the country and in New York City. And what I mean by that, across the country, we have over 12 million people impacted by DV. And in New York City, more than 80% of the felonies, domestic violence is contributing to that. And so I want to begin to really look at the family, look at networks of care, and think about who's in a child's network of care. Where's the bar? And how do we now put supports, right, around individuals from birth right through, and not necessarily always waiting for things to go awry or for things to break in the family. We need to support people. And so I'm bringing my leadership, and I'm honored to ask New York City for the job. I'm asking New York for the opportunity to help them and to really move our city to a place of healing and a place of progress as we look ahead.
All right. Let me ask you kind of a different question.
Okay.
If you could have dinner with 3 New Yorkers, past or present, who would they be?
Ooh, oh, that's a really good one. 3 New Yorkers, past or present, who would they be? Wow. Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I think I would want to make sure that I'm having dinner with people who are in different places in their lives. Can I do that? So I would love to have dinner with a grandparent. in New York and to have an opportunity to kind of hear their version of history of New York, because they would have had a chance to see the city, right, really transform over a few decades that I may not have had the opportunity to see. I think I would also like to be able to have, okay, do I have to name a specific name? So let me think. Definitely a grandparent. I think also I'd like to be able to maybe sit with one of our nurses, and I'm okay with whatever community they serve, because I think that we often overlook our nurses and the nature of how they support. So I want to kind of hear their story and gain and certainly gain their insights. Other New Yorkers, I would love to sit with Mother Hale. I grew up in Harlem, and we had a place called Hale House. And she really served as a beacon of light for me very early on. And she was a mother in the community who took care of babies impacted by crack and who didn't have moms of their own. And so I would love to hear her story and hear how she found the courage to do that when there was, not necessarily anybody giving her the money, but she just really stood in the gap. So I would love to have a conversation with Mother Hale. Those would be my three.
All right. Now, you're on the ballot on November the 4th, coming up, less than a month away. How can people find you?
Well, first, what I want to say to individuals, I was on the ballot in June in the primary, and running is fighting for me because I'm fighting a huge machine, right? And so I am an official write-in candidate, and I am a Democrat. So you will not see my name on the ballot. So you must go and actually write in my name, exactly as you see it on the screen, Selma K. Bartholomew. Don't put the doctor in it, because I already know I'm going to fight people, and they're going to work to steal every vote for me. So Selma K. Bartholomew is the writing candidate. Please go to my website, drselmabartholomew.com, drselmab.com. And what I need right now is I need help. I need donations, and I also need people to really do boots on the ground as we move into the next couple of weeks. And I also want people to not be silent. I think that what I want to say to Win with Women and Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote is that people fundamentally do not understand the challenges that we are facing as Black candidates, as women candidates, that the media has been used to actually shut us out, to prevent our stories from being heard. And so this platform has meant the world to me. It really is joy showing up in the struggle. So don't be silent. Call your news stations. Hit us up on social media. Let people know. Put a woman in the mayor's office as we move forward, because we have had 108 white men as mayors. And right now I'm fighting the candidates with hundreds of millions of dollars, because they were very quickly able to get matching funds. And you cannot get matching funds until you raise $250,000. So please support, please donate, please volunteer. Go to my website and you can hit the Get Involved button and sign up. And we look forward to boots on the ground. Get a t-shirt, say write her in. Text everybody. I have somebody who sent me a message the other day, and they said, Dr. B, we put your posters up in the bathroom. We're letting everybody know that we want to put a Black woman in the mayor's office in New York City, that it's time for change. So please donate, please support, please don't be silent. Hit your newspapers up, hit them up and say, why aren't you interviewing Dr. Bartholomew for mayor of New York City?
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing how November 4th turns out for you. Everyone should have your link, and we appreciate you coming this evening. Thank you, Dr. Bartholomew.
Thank you so much. To Win with Black Women. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're going to bring our next candidate to the stage. We have another good sister. She is running for city commissioner, Sister Keshia Dickason. She's running for city commissioner in Kalamazoo, Michigan. There really is a Kalamazoo, y'all. Look at there. And there's a sister from Kalamazoo. Welcome, 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 Sister Keshia. How are you this evening?
I am great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So you are running for city commissioner. Tell us what
Yes.
inspired you to run and what pushed you to step forward in this moment.
So, what inspired me to run is I have served as Kalamazoo County Road Commissioner, first woman of color to ever serve in that seat since 1909. And I served in that capacity for 5 years. Also, I worked for Michigan Senate um, 4 years during the pandemic, which was extremely stressful, but I was still able to help the constituents. So those things were kind of like my driving force that I'm like, okay, I'm ending my road commission term. I still need to be the voice of the people. So when I say that, I always lead with people over politics, which means we all know that we have politics, but just to be that voice to make sure that we overcome and think about the people involved before the politics takes over. So yes, inspired by all of my past relationships that I've had and built in this community. I've been here in Kalamazoo for 32 years since I was a freshman in college at Western Michigan University. And I've loved this city, raised my 3 children here. So I think all of my experiences and as well as my leadership roles inspired me to run.
You would think all of this time I'd know how to get myself off mute. I know. Look, we've been virtual for so many years, and we still have issues with that mute button. So, was there a moment in the city where you thought this could be handled better, and I could do this better? When you kind of look around and think about stepping up for leadership.
So yes and no. I think that every city can use help and things can be done differently. But I've always taken into consideration being that person in the leadership role is that you should want to be a part or run for an office to help contribute to the current leadership. I don't want to come in and take over. I want to work with the current leadership to make it better, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Um, so what's one way that you plan to help make the city government more transparent?
So my plan is to work within, of course, I have my platforms like every candidate does, which is her. So housing, environment, and redevelopment. This city is faced with a lot of, like most cities, homelessness, just trying to get to the root of that itself. We're not going to be able to remove homelessness completely, but what can we do to, I guess I would say, to help those individuals that are less fortunate and facing about to be homeless? What can we do in that area? What can we do to bring more resources to the city to help that population? So I'm hoping that I can bring a fresh new set of eyes and ears to hear the people and be able to voice what they need.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, if you
you
have
were off.
came right back. If you have some young sisters who are watching your entire campaign and watching how you move, what lesson would you want them to take away from your leadership?
Great question. So because I do have younger, I'm on a council for Western Michigan University, and I oversee, or that council is in charge of young women of color. And I would just want them to see that I am completely transparent. I'm a leader and a listener. And when I say that, I don't want them to see me, when they see me, I want them to think of, if I need help or I have a concern, I can go to Keshia Dickason and she's going to advocate on my behalf. So I want them to see me as a leader and a change maker, that I can do things on behalf of them.
Okay. So I want you to think, I've been elected. I have served my term or terms. I have accomplished everything that I want to accomplish in this position. What does your city
Okay.
look like with you having led in that position?
Oh, nice. So that is like in a perfect world, huh? So that looks like we are welcoming new development. The event center is a big thing going on that's coming. Youth facilities. We are well equipped in a perfect world with all of the resources and tools we need to help individuals um, come out of being homeless and prevent those that are facing being homeless. It looks like we are a green Kalamazoo. We have more things, more individuals are growing and have their own gardens, and they're making sure that their health is their wealth. And it looks like I stated, we welcome any development that comes into the city, and we're not against it, which is helping us to create more jobs, and helping individuals of the city know that we are constituents are not just a number or a voter, but their family. So that's my perfect Kalamazoo.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna try to ask you something a little less serious, little less serious.
Okay.
Let me what do I want to ask you? Um, hmm. If you had a campaign theme song, what would it
What would my campaign theme song be?
what would your campaign theme
Huh.
song? And better yet, I'm gonna ask a
So
second part. Well, go ahead. Go ahead with that.
it's funny that you say that, because I actually do have one
Mhm.
that I have two that I use. So one is of course my girl Beyonce, Who Runs the World, Girls. Um and the other one is Chaka Khan's remake from my other favorite singer, Whitney Houston, I'm Every Woman.
Okay.
Those are my two. Women empowerment, Black girl magic.
So, and my part two to that question is, um, what would what what would you play having won this election? What is the song you would be playing in the car, riding up to get sworn in for this position?
Riding up to get sworn in. Um, I was gonna say I'm a survivor because it's been tough. But let's see. Riding up to get sworn in. Um, I think it would be Frankie Beverly. We Are One. I think that's Frankie Beverly, isn't it? And Mays. We Are One. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm so old school. I love all the old school 70s. Yeah, I'm an old school baby.
Well, but you know, your songs really kind of show some things because you had Girls Run the World. What was your second one?
Whitney Houston and Shaka, I'm Every
I'm Every
Woman.
Woman. So you got a lot of girl power going on. But what's interesting is you shifted. Once I said you had one, you started thinking about everybody. We are one.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I thought that was really interesting. Who would be on your personal dream team advisory board? Past or present, you can pick anybody. Who would you have as the people who would be giving you advice? If you could put them together and this is your dream board.
I like my dream board. I need to do that. Of course, it would be my girl, Michelle Obama. It also would be Oprah. It wouldn't just consist, you said past or present. I would have Obama on there too, because I just love me some Obama and the way he moves, or did within his presidency terms. Another one would probably be, now I'm going all the way back. If I could, they can be deceased,
Past or present.
present.
Anybody you choose.
Okay, I think I would have Martin Luther King on there with me, giving me direction and helping me to remain calm. And yes, I would have Martin Luther on there as well. I probably would have, well, she's such a, I probably would have Hillary on my team, that she would serve in, I don't want to say the background, but she would be on staff as well. Hillary Clinton, she would be on staff.
Okay. That's a very interesting advisory board. One more question before we wrap up. What's something about Kalamazoo that makes you feel very proud?
I have a few things. Well, I'll say one, our city we have the Kalamazoo Promise. My children were fortunate to have a portion of it. So the Kalamazoo Promise is given it was created by, I think it was 10 anonymous donors. And it was created to provide free tuition or a scholarship that covers tuition to those individuals that are attending a college in Michigan. And I think that you have to maintain a GPA over 2.0. And yes, very proud of the Kalamazoo Promise. My eldest son had, I think, 85% of the promise. He received his degrees, and he's now a teacher. He taught honors English. I think one of his degrees, yeah, the last degree that he received was a bachelor's in English. So very happy for that. My daughter, she's in med school in San Diego, almost done. Well, she's almost ready to go to her next phase, which is doing her residency. So she had, I think, 95% of the promise. And my baby graduated in December from Michigan State University, and he was able to get 100% of the promise. He was also a track a track star too. So scholarships from track for room and board and that type of thing. So I'm very, very thankful and proud of the Kalamazoo Promise.
Awesome, awesome. So you are on the ballot on November the 4th. How can people find you to find out more information about your campaign?
Mm-hmm. So they can go to my Facebook page is also linked to, according to my team. It's also linked to my Instagram. So Keshia Dickason for City Commissioner is my Facebook page. They can go to that. I update that maybe daily with different things. I have listening tours that I go to different coffee hours and provide listening, that I'm basically sitting there hearing what the community has to say, what are some concerns, and how do they think that I can help them with those issues or concerns. They can also find me, well, if they Google me, they can find me that way too, and on LinkedIn, and everything is under my name.
Awesome, awesome. What do you need at this point in the campaign?
I need help with canvassing and door knocking. I have a caucus that just called me this assist on Wednesday mornings from 9 until 1, and then they're gonna break and do an evening shift. I believe that's gonna be like a 5 to 7. So they're gonna do that as long as it's light out. I definitely need door knockers, individuals sharing my page, letting people know that it's one voice, one choice, and one clear candidate, which is me, Keshia Dickason. So vote for her November 4th. Don't vote for anyone else, just me.
Awesome, awesome. What's one last thing you want people to remember about your candidacy?
I just want them to remember that me, I'm the person, the clear candidate and the only one that has served here and been a part of the Kalamazoo family for 32 years. And so I know this city. I know the constituents here. I know the policies here. And I am the person that they can trust to be completely transparent.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks for
We wish
having
you
me.
we wish you the best of luck in your candidacy, and we will be watching closely to see what happens on November the 4th.
Yay. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. That has been our candid conversation, candidate conversations for this evening. I want to, if we can go to the Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote. If you know a Black woman who is running for office in 2025, we want to help amplify and your leadership and share your candidacy with everyone, because we help to amplify Black women who are running for office. So if you know a Black woman running for office, or you are a Black woman running for office, please share this information with them, scan the QR code, or use the bit.ly link. Actually, if you go to the website, sistersleadsistersvote.org, you can take a look at the yearbook from the 2024 election and see all of the sisters who ran for office, and see the mid-year report that has been issued. Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote is doing the work and is one, if not the only, tracking Black women candidates who and amplifying Black women candidates who are running for office. So support those who are supporting us. Thank you, everyone. I have been reading your comments in the chat. You know, I'm going to show one comment. You know, you're right. We had an emergency call. So hopefully you are on the Win with Black Women listserv so you can get all of the wonderful information. Monica Hale said she enjoyed the chat. Thank you for being here, Monica. Thank you. Karen, thank you. Thank you for coming. We could not do this without you. You know, y'all have wished all of the candidates much success. We appreciate and continue to be thankful for your support. Don't forget, there are elections on November the 4th. In some places, early voting has started. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. 1, go check your voter registration. Make sure you are registered to vote. 2, we together collectively are powerful. Go register someone to vote or have them check their voter registration. And then lastly, if you've got an election on November the 4th, make sure that you go vote. With that, that is our Candid Candidate Conversations for this evening. And we look forward to seeing you when we see you. Good night.